finding your purpose in life, and trying to be more literate about how you can manage your finances, or how you can generally manage your life in a productive way, or how you can manage your and improve your relationship with your family, friends, partners, colleagues, and get a better sense of work life balance, or who wants to some or maybe you just want to be accountable to someone, because a lot of times we not really, we don't have anyone who we can be accountable to in order to achieve our goals, because sometimes we set a goal and then we ourselves back out from it. So if we have someone accountable, which is a life coach, we'll better be able to be accountable to them and get all our tasks done. Yes, someone had a question.
Yes, I have a question. So, will it be like counseling? We'll have sessions planned, counseling sessions planned. Will it be like
Yes.
that?
Mhm. Yeah, so life coaching indeed is like counseling sessions. It is like usually a 1 hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour sessions. But like I told you, the only difference is the purpose of it. The purpose of counseling is to figure out your past and what the causes of your problems are in order to help you right now. However, the main purpose of life coaching is to structure the sessions in a certain way so that they are able to help you achieve the goals, or solve problems, or help you get a better sense of life from the future point of view.
So, it means somebody like a guidance, like a professor who is guiding us to do our project. Similarly, somebody who's going to guide us to our goals.
Yeah, but then again, there is a difference between someone who's a professor or a mentor and someone who's a life coach. So I actually cover this in my basics in my life coaching certificate course that I conduct. Is that coaching, mentoring, counseling, training, all of these are we use interchangeably in our lives. We use all of these statements interchangeably, but then these are all different terms. Professor or a mentor is someone who is specialized in a particular field, and they help you with that. But then a life coach, I for example, let's say I'm a life coach, and I am not really experienced, and someone is going through a financial crisis that I don't really know about, because I haven't gone through that, and I haven't done my master's in finance. So I'm not really sure about how I can help you best in terms of finances. But the thing is that the skills that I have as a life coach is to help you generally manage that is the problem that is happening, and how you can better make a change so that you're able to get yourself out of that problem and then manage your finances in a better way. I won't be able to offer you advice or support about which stocks you should invest in, or what kind of policies you should take so that they give you better or longer returns. But someone who's a mentor to you, someone who's a mentor would be generally who's someone who's specializing in that field, who has years of experience. And so that is one of the major differences between all of these interchangeable words that we use.
Thank you for clear my doubts.
Yeah. Now the benefits of becoming a life coach. Now what is it in for you? How is it going to help you? Let me just increase the font size. Yes, Shruti.
मैम मैं ये बोल रही थी लाइक आफ्टर दिस लाइक कोर्स आफ्टर द completion of this course like how I will recognize myself and how I will let the other people know that I am happiness coach or something else. And like after
Uh-huh.
completion of this course, should I get that up what like recommendation letter or something else so that it
This is
will
just a 1 hour workshop. This is just an orientation workshop to help you
yeah
better understand what life coaching is. Of course,
yeah
becoming a life coach is a much more longer process where there's a certificate course. We have different modules to complete, cover in that, and then you have practice sessions as well. So once you do that certificate course, then you'll be eligible to become a certified life coach.
yeah that's okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am, actually after this workshop I was asking just as a suggestion if we should have one certified workshop course so it will get benefit for all also.
Sorry?
Actually I was telling after this workshop which we are doing right now, if somebody is actually wanting to be life coach, we should
Yeah.
have a separate course over that.
Yeah, we do have a course for that. I
Yeah.
will talk about that towards the end. I do have a certificate course. I have conducted a lot of batches of the certificate course for life coaching. So there is a course if anyone's interested in joining. The dates would be announced later.
Yeah, I am interested, so that's why I asked you.
Yeah, the dates will be announced later. We'll let you know.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what is the benefit of becoming a life coach for you? So, you are able to help others, so that gives you a greater sense of self, a greater sense of belonging, and then there's flexibility because if you're working for yourself, you have flexibility in your profession, entrepreneurship, personal development, financial potential. You're able to create a positive impact on people. Varieties because you can have any kind of client. You can have someone who's trying to work on their um, um, let's say career related goals, or someone who is trying to improve their relationship, someone who's trying to manage their finances, someone who's trying to become a better version of themselves. So there's all variety of cases that you can get autonomy because you will be able to free to work in your own way that you want. Personal satisfaction and transferable skills basically means that whatever you have learned, you're able to transfer that to someone else and benefit them in a way so that they are able to also manage and take care of life in a certain way, right? So these are some of the benefits for you to become a life coach. And now, what are some of the skills that you would need in order to become a life coach, or what are some of the skills that you would have to develop in order to become a life coach? So clear and effective communication. Obviously, this is one of the most important things for any mental health professional, is that you need to be clear and effective with the way that you communicate. Active listening and reflecting skills. You need to be able to listen for the sake of understanding and not just hearing what someone is saying. Yeah, there's a difference. Then paraphrasing and summarizing. So, whatever your client is saying, paraphrasing that and summarizing it. So, just so that you can understand that जो आगे वाला बोल रहा है क्या मैं उसी चीज को उसी तरीके से मैंने समझा है. So, understanding if you have correctly understood what the client was trying to say. Clarifying and encouragement. Obviously, then these positive skills need to be a part of your life. Emotional awareness, I always encourage this for all my students as well, that whenever you're becoming any kind of a mental health professional, doesn't matter whether it's a life coach, happiness coach, counselor, hypnotherapist, or anyone, you need to constantly keep working on yourself, and you need to keep working on your own emotional regulation as well, so that you are better equipped with skills so that you can help the other clients as well. Then using coaching questions, these are some of the kind of questions and coaching techniques that a life coach is trained with, so that they are able to use these in a session. Assertiveness is not about being extremely aggressively assertive. It's about taking charge of the session and helping the client, because obviously client must have been at crossroads about something, and they must have been confused about something. So asserting helping them in an assertive way so that they are also able to grasp those skills is also a quality. And non-judgmental, again, this goes without saying that you need to be non-judgmental in your approach. Any questions so far? Mhm. Yes.
So any basic qualifications required, like you have to do this and this degree or anything like that?
Yeah. See, usually it is recommended to do bachelor's and master's, preferably in the field of mental health. But then, because life coaching itself doesn't have any licensing requirement in India as of now, the basic requirement is to get certification and training in the field. But someone who has done their bachelor's and master's is usually preferable, because life coaching is something that goes hand in hand. If you're a counselor, you can also be a life coach, although this can be a practice by itself as well. But then again, usually it goes better hand in hand when someone is also already a mental health professional in the field.
Thank you.
So let's talk about discovering your purpose. So now, this is from here also. Till here, we discussed about how life coaching as a career can be a beneficial thing. But let's talk about how life coaching as a session for you can help you, and then maybe through this you can derive how you can help your clients as well. So the first thing is discovering your purpose. Can someone tell me what does discovering your purpose mean? I'd like to hear from people who joined a little later, Pushpinder and Kartika. what do you mean by, or what does this statement mean for you, discovering your purpose? Are you guys there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So basically, discovering your purpose is a lot about self-discovery. When you discover more about yourself, that is when you're able to discover your purpose in life. Purpose in life is basically not your career, not the career that you're in at the moment. It's more than about your career. It's about, aligning your values and beliefs and your core principles and ideas to help you live a more purposeful life. So, and the most important part of that, or most important part of anything right now, is self discovery, which is, trying to get a deeper and a much deeper fundamental insight about, or understanding about themselves, so that you are able to understand your unique qualities, your characteristics, your strengths, your weaknesses, and and how can you help those help overcome those weaknesses and challenges. Then values and beliefs are basically the core principles. Values are, you have these certain set of values and beliefs that you grow up with and that you adapt along the way, and these are the things that guide the way that you behave, the guide your decisions, your decision making skills, your actions, and also determine at times how you see yourself. So, which is why we also talk about values and beliefs in detail, so that you're able to understand and identify these values and beliefs and the importance of that. And if there are any limiting beliefs, then you can even go ahead and change that in order to create a more fulfilling life for yourself. Then self discovery also includes passion and interest, using activities, different kinds of activities, to try to find, what brings you joy, what brings you passion, what really interests you, and then, discovering that if you pursue those skills that you're passionate about, how can it help you in leading a more purpose driven life. Then again, like I said, strengths and weaknesses. When you find out more about your strengths and weaknesses, strengths obviously a lot of us may have focused a lot on, but my sessions also focus majorly on weakness as well. I recently have this finding your purpose in life masterclass, which was for 5 days, where I helped students find their purpose in life. So that one of the components of that was to majorly find out about their weakness in detail. I had this worksheet for them which had a extensive list of questions that helped them to identify their weakness. And towards the end of a worksheet, like as they went through, it also gave them option to think about or find out about how they can use how they can improve on their weaknesses as well. So, working on all of those things is becomes more easier when when being facilitated by a life coach, because self discovery is, might sound like an easy concept, but okay, I know I like this food, I know these are my likes, I know these are my dislikes, I know I don't like the person when a person lies to me and all of that, but all of this is on a very superficial level. What about on the much deeper level, where you get a sense of who you truly are? So that is something that is a challenging journey, and you may not always be in line with yourself. So a life coach can help you achieve self discovery as well. Then let's talk about growth mindset. So, when we talk about a regular mindset is about, that you've been given something, or you've been given a life, or maybe you have chosen a life or chosen a career, and you'll just continue to keep working in a straight line. Right. However, a growth mindset is that your growth should be upward. That no matter what you're doing, there should be growth involved. So, a growth mindset is basically a belief that we can learn and develop new skills, and we can develop those abilities so that we are able to get through anything in life, and so that in spite of the challenges that we get, we are still able to go through them and have growth in our life. And as compared to growth mindset, I said that there's the other thing, which is the fixed mindset, which is that मेरे जो beliefs है वो beliefs है. I'm not going to change my beliefs. I'm not going to work on any abilities. Whatever I have right now, whatever abilities and intelligence I have right now, those cannot be changed. And so I will keep working on the one thing that I have been working in, which is why so many people get stuck in a career that they don't really even like. Something like a career, someone who got became a clerk, and they just settle down in that fixed mindset that no, I'm not someone who can develop skills or abilities or work on my intelligence, so I will just follow this straight path. So that is something that hampers your growth. So having a growth mindset, again, helping you recognize what your limiting beliefs are, and so that you are able to remove them, get over them, and develop a growth mindset, so that you are able to identify where you can work on yourself, or how can you challenge yourself every day, and maybe if you're having some obstacles, how can you cross them, or how can you overcome those obstacles, so that you're able to become a better version who is always growing, in a sense, and again, one of the major parts of the growth mindset is confidence and resilience, which means that you need to be resilient, that whatever comes to your way, life is not going to be easy, right? Whatever comes your way, you're going to face it, and you're going to get through it by changing yourself as needed, and by growing in that situation. Whenever we have we are giving a certain problem, or we're put in a certain environment that is not really helping us, or maybe something that I did not prefer. So what I would do is I might start complaining that no, मेरे साथ तो ऐसे ही होता है हमेशा, or that I'm cursed, my life is all bad, and or that my मेरी किस्मत खराब है and all of that. We start blaming our life and our kismat and all of that for that. But then the main thing is here to focus on the growth. That even if something wrong or something bad happens with you, try and focus. And from here on, even for you guys, even a little takeaway for you from this workshop would be that even if you have any setbacks from here on, try and see what are the things that you have learned from this situation. It could be maybe the worst breakup of your life, or the worst thing could have happened to you. Instead of trying to focus on that what bad has happened, try and think about just one thing that you learned, or something good that came out of it. Just even developing your mindset in this way, or training your mind to think about something in this way, is again a very beneficial thing in the longer run. Any questions? Okay, now next part is communication and interpersonal skills. That okay, I know, some people might say that I know how to communicate, I have relationships with people, but then the thing is that you might have a good relationship with someone, but then in the times of crisis, or in the times of problem, where you're fighting with your partner, and your partner is clearly wrong, or maybe your partner is not communicating in the correct way, in that case also, are you able to communicate in a proper and an effective manner? That is the question. So that's why with a counselor, or with a life coach, essentially you can work on developing your communication and interpersonal skills. What kind of communication is effective in building positive relationships with people around you, so that you're able to achieve success. Because relationships are an important part of life, and if your relationships are messed up, if you're not satisfied, or if you're constantly engaging in conflicts that are not getting resolved, that obviously dulls down and lowers down your energy, and that in turns doesn't let you succeed more in a personal or a professional setting. So working on those effective communication skills, and also just generally being an active listener, and being empathetic to others. Empathy, and unfortunately empathy is not something that you can learn in textbooks. Someone could have done their PhD, their double PhD, and everything, but they still could not have even an inch of empathy. So you do all of these degrees and study and everything, empathy is something that cannot be learned from textbooks. It is something that has to be personally developed over time. And I'm not saying that you need to be someone who has inborn talent of being empathetic, but just a second. Just give me a moment. I'm just trying to switch my network. Yeah. So empathy is not something that you need to necessarily have. Some people are generally, because of the environment or the settings that they grow up in, they might not necessarily be very empathetic right from the day that they're born, but then that is something that can be worked on over time. Then a bigger part of communication is also conflict resolution. That if you're not able to resolve your conflicts in an effective way, how are you going to be able to, or if you're not able to communicate in a more productive way, how are you going to be able to resolve your conflicts? And conflicts is something that happens in your workplace as well, happens in your home also, happens with your friends also, may happen with strangers also outside. And the way that you communicate really speaks a lot about that. So, and people might have anger issues, people might have difficulty in communicating themselves, people might have difficulty in expressing their emotions. But then when you are someone who works on their conflict resolution skills with a life coach, you will be able to manage your disagreements in a better way. Because we as humans always feel that we are entitled to be right. Whatever I am saying is the correct thing, and the other person, especially my partner or my colleagues, they shouldn't disagree with me. And because of that, we're not able to manage our disagreements, and we're not able to manage those conflicts. And as you know, that obviously once a disagreement starts, it always escalates, and it then becomes an entirely different argument or a situation. So a life coach helps you with strategies that can help you in identifying the root cause of the conflict, and also help you with equipping you with skills that can help you become a better listener. So not just becoming knowing how to communicate yourself in a better way, because some people have trouble with that as well. They're not able to exactly communicate how they're feeling. But then how you can be an active listener, because one of the biggest part of conflict is that you keep interrupting each other. So learning how you can actively listen to someone, that is not just listening for the sake of listening or for the sake of replying, but for the sake of actually understanding the other person and making the other person feel heard. So working on those skills and empathetically dealing with everyone that is involved in a particular conflict. And there would of course be situations where the other person is acting in a belittling way, or they're not acting in an appropriate manner. So even in that case, how can you as an individual grow so that you are able to keep your calm and you're able to manage those disagreements in a much better way? So life coach helps you in developing those essential communication skills. So for example, if a client goes to a life coach and talks about a conflict that they had at home, where they were constantly in an argument with their mother and their father, and they kept saying how mother was doing this, the father was doing that, and I was trying to explain, but nobody was understanding my point of view. In that case, a life coach is obviously not going to be able to change what the mother and the father are doing. They are free to behave the way they are, and the main agenda is to work on yourself. So a person will work on themselves, and they will get the proper guidance and feedback from the life coach as to how they can improve their communication skills, so that if nothing, at least they are able to communicate themselves in a better way. Then the next part is overcoming obstacles and challenges. Like I said earlier, that whenever we are faced with obstacles and challenges in our life, we are, mainly we have this fixed mindset that maybe my time is not going right, or maybe we have all these negative beliefs in our life that everything bad happens with me, or no matter how good I am, only the bad things happen with me. So whenever we are faced with these kind of challenges, we that automatically resort to this negative belief, and that doesn't do us any good. At the max, what it can do is it can help us sympathize with ourselves, put us in the self-pity zone. But if that is not something that is going to help us overcome those challenges and obstacles. So a life coach can help you in learning and acquiring that belief that how obstacles and challenges are a natural part of life. If you cannot be happy all the time, you cannot have a straight path, you cannot live a straight path all the time. So learning how to overcome these different kinds of challenges. And one of the things is that when you become a life coach, it's not about of course a client is coming to you, so that is good money every session. But then you will be a successful life coach, successful counselor, or any successful professional in the mental health field when your client equipped with the problem solving skills and doesn't need to come to you anymore. So that is when you've actually got the success. Is that, for example, if a client has come to you with a specific problem that they were having with a colleague, that the client is not, your client is not able to communicate with their colleague, which is causing problems at their workplace because they're not able to communicate with each other. So you help them through the process, you help them learn communication skills, so that they are able to use that skill next time when they have a conflict with, let's say, their parents or with their partner. They are able to apply those learning. In maths also we learn the basic maths with using certain formulas. So in maths you're not learning about the specific problems that there were 10 people or there were 20 train tracks or whatever. You're mainly learning about the formulas. So life coaching is all about equipping your clients with the formula so that they are able to apply that in any of the challenges and obstacles that they might face in their life. And again, like I said, that setbacks and failures are a part of life, and no matter how much you want, unfortunately, you cannot run away from all these things. You might feel that your plan is completely foolproof, that nothing can set you back now, you cannot get a failure. But unfortunately, it's an inevitable part of your journey, and we need to be better equipped to deal with the belief, or with the maybe with the fact that I might fail. And that I might fail thing, that thinking is going to help you in developing better mental strategies for yourself. Maybe at the moment you won't be able to do anything. That, for example, let's say you are in class 12 and you fail the exam, right? You cannot do something about the exam at that moment. You can do a retake later, but at that moment you cannot do anything about the exam. Failure has occurred, that has happened. But what you can do right now is, instead of wallowing yourself, or instead of going into that zone that, oh my god, I am such a failure, I can never succeed in life, how was I not able to clear this simple exam, and resorting to that negative self-talk pattern. Instead of that, if you try to reframe that and practice more self-compassion and gratitude, and try to learn from your mistakes, that okay, I failed, and that also had majority to do with how I had prepared myself. So how can I get over that? So these are some of the skills and challenges, skills that a life coach can help you with. And again, developing resilience and persistence in life generally to overcome any obstacles, bigger or smaller, can help you get a greater sense of yourself, and can also help you discover a lot of things about yourself. If you are someone who is not necessarily disappointed frequently when they have setbacks in life, that says a lot about you, and that those skills will help you go much more ahead in life. Because if I have a failure or a setback and I just sit down and I wallow that, okay, I failed, I can't do anything, I maybe this is not meant for me, etc., etc., I'm just going to sit and I'm not going to take the further step. Or maybe I might become so scared that I might not ever try to do that particular task again. So resilience, developing resilience and perseverance to move ahead in life, is something that a life coach can help you with. Then one of the other parts of life coaching is not just life coaching is not just about personal well-being and how your interpersonal skills and all of that. It's also, you can a life coach can help you with finances, financial planning and management. Now, like I told you, I don't know a thing about stocks, I don't know anything about investment, I don't know the particular details of what mutual fund you should invest in, or about cryptocurrency or anything. I don't have those particular details. I am not an expert in the field of finances. However, what I can help you with is the planning and management part. Is that how you need to plan and manage your finances in a better way, so that you have a long-term financial security, stability, and also so that you have those long-term, you're able to achieve and set those long-term financial goals for yourself. So this would include things like developing a budget, whatever your salary is, developing a budget based on that, making a financial plan so that you have money saved up for the future as well, allocating income to different sources. And this is especially an excellent thing for young adults who are just getting out of home. They're starting to earn for themselves, and they are not really very sure about how they can handle their expenses. So, identifying areas like where you can reduce your expenses or setting financial goals, so that at the end you know that where my finances are going and you have a complete clarity of where things are going. And that also include planning and strategizing about investment. Um, yes.
So it's something like the life coaches will guide us on making our own kind of planning journals through these ideas and suggestions they are going to provide us. Is
Yeah,
it so?
see, yeah. So I'm not really sure if it's a journal. Some people are creative; they can make a journal out of it. But some people can even have it noted down on a piece of paper. The main part is the planning part, that okay, my income is, let's say, 20,000 a month. My fixed expenses are this. These are my fixed expenses, and this is how I can use my salary to compensate for all of these expenses, and that's how much. This is how much I'll have to save. So that is what a life coach will help with.
Yeah, I get it now.
Yeah, just a second. Yes, Shruti.
Ma'am, we'll be getting PPT, na? A PowerPoint of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So planning and strategizing, and not just about saving money and how to manage your finances, but also about understanding how, for example, if you have a debt, if you have taken a loan, how do you manage that? How do you understand that debt? Do you have a payment plan for clearing of that debt? Do you have, so that you're not getting into more debt because of that, and repaying, negotiation and all of that. These are different kinds of skills, and sometimes you might find specializing life coaches as well, someone who has had education or has a background of financial planning, or financial management. Someone like that, from that background, if they become a life coach, they can obviously provide better insights. But then these are some of the skills that a life coach will anyway be equipped with. Now I have a little exercise. If everyone could turn on their cameras, maybe, or be a little bit more active. I haven't heard from the three people here, so that you are able to engage yourself and make the most of this as well. So the thing that we're going to do now is called a big rock exercise. This is one of the exercises that I teach in my life coaching classes, and also I conduct with my clients. Now, big rock is basically, your big rocks are your priorities. Let's imagine you have rocks, you have bigger rocks, you have smaller pebbles and stuff like that. So you have big rocks. So big rocks are the things that are your priorities in life. These are the tasks or the projects or the goals that you absolutely need to accomplish, and that you absolutely need to do, right? And then when the problem is that because we're not able to recognize our priorities, we're always engaging ourselves in the smaller tasks here and there. So because of that, priorities, because you're not set with your priorities, you may have a very messy to-do list, where your priority task may be at the bottom of the list, whereas it needs to be on the top of the list. So and when someone thinks about their priorities, some of the problems that they might face are they have too many priorities, and that is not a problem. You could be someone who is doing a lot of things at once, and has is engaging, has a lot of responsibilities, so they could have too many priorities, or they are not able to differentiate between the truly important priorities and the less prioritizing things. That for example, my best friend is also my priority. However, my meeting where I have to go and pitch my, let's say, where I have to go and pitch something, that is also my priority. It's my best friend's birthday today. So what do I do? Just a second. Yeah. So it's my best friend's birthday. She's obviously very important. She's in my life since the last 20 years, let's say. And it's also my very important presentation that I have at work. Now, what do I prioritize? These are two very important things. what do I prioritize? I may just get up and go to a birthday party, but then here what is happening is that I'm missing a long term opportunity. So, setting those priorities, and for any number of reasons, we may give importance to less important things instead of focusing on what really matters. So, I might just, instead of my goal that instead of exercising, I might just keep frequently engaging in, cheat meals and stuff like that, where, which is obviously seemingly less important thing. So the exercise here is that the step one is to identify your big rocks. So list the 3 to 5 most important things that you have in your life. Step two is identify your pebbles. We have a jar, we fill it with the rocks. Then, where you can't fit any more rocks, you fill it with pebbles. Pebbles slide through with that small spaces that you have. Then, when the pebbles are there, you have this, you still have some space, so you can put sand in there. So, basically, big rocks are the most important things in your life. So, list out 3 to 5 of those priorities. Then the pebbles, so identify your pebbles, things that are important but not essential. Having a social life is important, but it is not essential at the moment if I have something very important to do. So identify 3 to 7 of those activities. Then identify your sand, which is the part of life but unimportant. Things that are there in your life, they are a part of your life, but they're not important, they're unimportant and can be put for later. And then step four would be to write down the number of hours you spend doing all of these activities. And a lot of times you might notice and realize that the things that are unimportant, the sand of your life, you spend majority of your time doing those things as compared to spending more time on your big rocks. So, that is something that you need to focus on. So this is what the exercise would look like. You can start writing it in here as well. You can make smaller arrows and start filling this, or you can just simply write it down in a normal tabular format as well. That these are my big rocks, these are my pebbles, this is my sand, and dash, and this is how many hours or how many minutes I spend doing this activity in a day. And yeah, you can get in touch with me if you want to schedule a live coaching session for yourself and to get to know more about yourself. And yeah, and we have a certificate course as well that is going to be coming up soon. The dates will be announced later, where we'll talk about a lot of different things. As you can see, this list is extensive. There are a lot of different things, a lot of different